Section 4. Efrain Martinez Romero.
The architect of agency.
Now, I have to be honest, when I first read the quote from Martinez in our source material, I rolled my eyes a little. It sounded like, I don't know, a motivational Instagram post.
Let's hear the quote. Put it on the table.
Okay. Usted es más grande que sus circunstancias, porque al conocerlas y separarlas de usted, puede desde cambiarlas hasta salirse de ellas.
You are bigger than your circumstances, because by knowing them and separating them from yourself, you can range from changing them to getting out of them.
Getting out of them, that's the phrase that just stops me cold. Taleb just spent hundreds of pages telling us we can't get out, that we have to have skin in the game. Ortega told us we're literally fused with it. How can Martinez just show up and claim we leave? It sounds like magical thinking.
It does on the surface.
Yeah.
But we have to look at the mechanism he's proposing. This is the crucial part. He isn't suggesting physical teleportation or wishful thinking. He is proposing a cognitive shift, a mental move that he calls objectification.
Objectification, that word usually has a really negative connotation.
It does in other contexts, but
Yeah.
here he's using it as a tool of power. Think back to Ortega for a second. He says the fish is fused with the water. The water is part of the fish's identity. Martinez comes along and says, wait a minute. The moment the fish realizes it is in water, it is no longer just in the water. It has created a subject-object relationship. The fish is the subject, the water is the object. They're no longer one and the same.
Okay, stay with that. Let's make it more personal. If I'm angry, that's my circumstance. In the Ortega view, I am fused with the anger. I am angry.
Right, that's your radical reality. But what happens the moment you stop and say to yourself, I am observing a feeling of anger arising within me?
There's a distance, a gap. I'm the watcher. The anger is the thing being watched.
Exactly. You have just turned the circumstance, the subjective experience of anger, into an object, something separate from you that you can observe. Martinez argues that this simple act of separation, this cleavage between the observer and the observed, is the birth of sovereignty.
So he's bringing dualism back into the picture. I thought we all agreed dualism was bad, that the ghost in the machine was a dead end.
He's rehabilitating it in a way. He's making a pragmatic argument that fusion is a trap. If you are one with your circumstance, you are, by definition, a hostage to it. To have any real agency, you must be separate. You must realize that there is a core I, an observing self, that is not the circumstance.
You are bigger than your circumstance.
Correct, because the I is the container, and the circumstance is just the content inside it. The container is always, by definition, bigger than the content.
Okay, I can see the link to Kahneman here. Kahneman also wants us to step back and use system 2 to observe.
Yes, but this is a key difference. Kahneman steps back to check his math. He steps back to avoid making a cognitive error. Martinez steps back to choose.
That's a huge distinction. Kahneman wants to be right. Martinez wants to be free.
And this is where the conflict with Taleb gets really spicy. Because if you go to Nassim Taleb and say, I'm going to separate myself from reality and design my own world, what does he call you?
He calls you an IYI, an intellectual yet idiot. He says you're drowning in arrogance. Hubris. You think you're a god, but you're just a fragile human who's about to get crushed by the next black swan event you didn't see coming.
Exactly. Taleb says you cannot escape gravity. It's a fundamental law of the universe. Skin in the game is not optional.
So how does Martinez answer the realist? Is Martinez just a dreamer, an idealist who's ignoring the harsh realities of the world?
No. And this is the brilliant counter move in his thinking. Martinez would say to Taleb, you are 100% right. Gravity exists. It's a fundamental law. I cannot flap my arms and fly. If I jump off a cliff, I will die. That is the circumstance, and it is non-negotiable.
Okay, so he admits the constraint. He's not denying reality.
He fully acknowledges it. But then he says, however, because I can understand gravity as an object, because I can study it as something separate from myself, I can understand its laws. And because I understand its laws, I can build an airfoil, I can build an engine, I can build a plane.
I can get out of it.
Not by ignoring the law, but by leveraging the law against itself. That's the key.
That is. Well, that's the story of human innovation, isn't it? That's aerodynamics.
It's the ultimate human hack. We don't just adapt to the wind and let it blow us around, Taleb. We don't just try to be the wind and become one with it, Ortega. We become the navigator. We build a sail, we build a rudder, and we use the power of the wind to go precisely where we chose to go, even against the wind itself.